Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I'll be with you all in a moment. Okay, looks like I'm dropping frames. But we're gonna have to go with it. Okay, well, this is the Hakko FM-202 front plate. It usually houses the main board. I have removed the microcontroller. I created a board which is an adapter board for my Xeltek Super Pro so that I can attempt to read the Renaissance microcontroller. I don't know if you can see the number, but I will post it on the blog. So I have assembled the adapter. We have a magic chip on an adapter. I have the Mega Magics for the 6100N, but I removed the header pins because I'm switching over to gold pins for a little bit better contact, and they just have not arrived yet. So I am using the older Super Pro 6000 today. I'm going to go ahead and turn that programmer on. What's all that Super Pro stuff? These are chip programmers. They'll read and program chips. This one here will do about a Super Pro 7500. It'll do about 140,000 different chips. So, yeah, this is the programming header for in-circuit programming. You can either use this Xeltyek IS01 or you can use a common Segegr Flasher Pro. These are about $1,000 a piece. But this microcontroller here requires an ID code that once it's programmed in circuit, if you don't have that ID code, you cannot read it or program it in circuit. But this allows for it to be read out of circuit with common tools. So if Hakko wants to call this industrial farming equipment, I'm going to say this is retail food equipment. So Hakko, they're just very anti-repair. Yes, they will sell you all the parts and stuff for the soldering equipment, but they won't provide schematics so that you can fix it at board level. So say if you have a component that breaks and you can't ID the component, it just burns up, they're going to make you buy a whole entire assembly from them. That is not right to repair. Their repair manual that they created was not really even a repair manual. The actual user manual provided more repair information than that repair manual. They just did that to maliciously comply, to say they are complying with right to repair SB 244. So I want to use the FM-203, which to be able to use that on this, I need a firmware update. And the only way to get that firmware update is to send the entire soldering station to Hakko for them to update the firmware. Or as they say, they'll just swap the board, which Chris Stuber, when I talked to him on the telephone, many conversations we've had, he described a flasher, Segegr Flasher. And he admitted they have schematics, they have the firmware. If they would provide the ID code to the chip, we could just find a FM-203 that has the firmware, type in the code, download the firmware, and reprogram and update our own. But they refuse to provide that ID code to make it simple. So now we have to resort to removing the chip off the board, putting it on another board, using common hardware to attempt to read it, to be able to recover that code. So let's plug this in, and this is a universal adapter. Usually you have to buy an adapter and it's got a ID chip in it that says I'm this adapter. These are aftermarket device, so these are really, really handy and they save a lot of money. So let's plug this in. Okay. I don't know if you can see it booting there. This is an older Magic chip on a custom board I built. I recommend anybody, if they've got a Xeltek, to get a Mega Magic from Alex in Russia. They're really awesome tools. Okay, we're going to light the software up and we're going to attempt this. Super Pro 6000. Okay. We're definitely not an Atmel 89C 2051. And that is a Renaissance. Let me see if I got that off the top of my head. I forgot to prep. There it is right there. Isn't it doing what I want it to do? Okay. Let's try that again. There it goes. For some reason it was being funky. Okay, so we're not going to do in-circuit programming, because if we do the in-circuit programming, you'll see right here, there should be, it says ID code 1 through 7 located in the buffer at these addresses. You have to enter that ID code before you can access the chip. So if you look at the there is nothing other than this chip can be locked. And if it's locked, you can't read it in parallel mode. So if they lock it, you can't read it in parallel mode. You can only do it in circuit mode. And you still need to have the code. So we're taking a gamble here if this thing is locked or not. Okay, so we need a CX CX3010 adapter. That's QFP52. Well, Xeltek wants a couple $100 for that adapter, so I made this board. We just soldered the chip right to the board, and with a Mega Magic or Magic chip, we can just go CX3010. Okay, so we're CX3010. Okay, so we did get an unmatched adapter. Let me make this bigger for y'all. So I will reload that. And we should be okay. And we're ready. So I'm just gonna, it's a lot easier with the factory adapters. Let me downsize this. It's a lot easier with the factory adapters because they use an actual board-to-board connector. But in the aftermarket, if you want to save a little money, I just only put a couple on one side. This is only using 52 pins, so I could actually use the shorter header there. But we'll make sure you take the socket, the 48 pin off. It's a little difficult with the headers. It takes a little force, but now we're hooked up. The code's right. Let's plug it back into the programmer here. This is an older programmer. You can pick these up on eBay. Pretty reasonable. I still recommend you get the 6100N. It's up. They update it. So let's relight the software up here. Okay. Here goes nothing, man. We're gonna hit read. Ooh, gotta make sure the magic chip is on. Okay, magic chip's on. Yeah, let's see if we get a pin error or anything. We're gonna read. Poor pin contact on pin 33. Okay, we're reading. And we get a read OK. Let's verify. That's a very, very good sign. Okay. Buffer. Edit buffer. Make this bigger for you. Where's that at? Buffer right there. I think we got data just from the checksum. Yeah, I really got to go gold pens. I think I'm going to do something with like pogo pens, like the similar to the Data IO. I'll show you that here in a minute. I'm curious, did we get a good read? Usually if it fails verification, it means the read was not good. Oh, we have data. Aha, APCP. I think that's kind of like the display codes. So we have data. This is good. I think we have a backup of the Hakko FM-203. I forgot to grab the version number off of this one. So let's just go to the addresses that we need to do in-circuit programming. So it's like an FFDF was the first address. Locate FFDF. Okay. So the addresses we need to get the code are FFDF. That is a 48. Right there, 48. And then E3, right there. E3, 4B. What was the other one? EB. EB, yep, is 30. And do my counting here. And we got EF. EF, yep, is another 30. Next one would be F3. Right there, 32. F7, 35. And FB is 36. That is our code. So that is the in-circuit programming code. Most manufacturers will use one code for everything. So this is one thing off my to-do list. We did ask nicely. So we do have lots of information here. I think we have a valid backup. So I must save this, and I will contact my buddy locally here. It's been about a year, but he should still have his FM-203 with the current firmware, and I will use my little adapter with one of my programmers here, and we'll try to back up the current firmware and make these FM-202s useful, or 203s. And in the description, I did the same thing with the FM-202. They refused to provide the firmware, so I was able to locate a very rare programmer and was able to get the dump from it. We check the chat. Anybody chatting? Nah, nobody's chatting. It's kind of a spur of the moment. I hope my audio is working. Yeah, we have firmware backup of the Hakko FM-203. Yeah, Hakko, they were really concerned with their brand reputation. Having people, repair shops do botched repairs and having it look bad on them. I'm like, not supporting right to repair is going to be probably worse for your brand reputation than actually supporting right to repair, but I don't think they understand that. We're technicians, and some of the stuff I work on, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. We can handle working on little boards. It's not a problem. So I'm just trying to see if there's anything cool in here or not, just in the text strings. But I think we've got a good, valid backup. So yeah, Hakko wants to claim industrial exemption. And if you read the SB 244, it lists just farm equipment, machinery, and with my phone calls and conversations with the vice president of sales or whatever he is, Chris Stuber, they are well aware that they sell these in normal retail commerce to the general public, to consumers. I can see if they sell things factory direct only, that's exempt. So, but if they're selling in normal retail chains like Mauser, DigiKey, Amazon, that's consumer electronics. And you can't just leave out a whole entire first sentence of a statute. So it says includes but not limited to. Thank you, Victorman222. My audio is working. Awesome. So I don't see anything, that just stands out so far. I'm just going to scroll through this whole backup of the firmware. Yeah, Hakko was real concerned that, oh yeah, well, not everybody's got the tools and equipment to program chips and whatever. Well, us that have the, that does have the equipment, we should be able to do it. If we want to update it ourselves, we're not going to have them sit there and hold our hand to update it. If we can't figure out how to update it, just send it to them to do. But if we can figure out how to update it ourselves, provide us with the firmware, provide us with the schematic. They don't have to support it. They just have to provide the documentation. And they're saying schematics aren't used for repair. Schematics are used for diagnostics purposes. Whenever you want to diagnose something, if it's a couple $100 item and you've got to spend 4, 5, 6 hours reverse engineering it to be able to diagnose it, that makes it beyond economical repair. So if you've got a schematic and you can quickly understand the circuitry, you can locate and pinpoint the item or the issue in no time. And it makes repair a lot more economical. And that's right to repair. Right to repair, the way the thing was written, I've had a couple companies say, oh, we want the serial number, we want the customer information. No, that's not required with right to repair. Right to repair, they just need to provide the documentation. And I think Pennsylvania, they're going way back, I think to the year 2000, or was it Texas going back to the year 2000? Oregon is 2015. California's 2021. And if you're a repair shop and you have customers in California, Oregon, Minnesota, Colorado, New York, the places that have passed right to repair, you have what they call an economic nexus. And you have the right to the data and information in those states. So as long as you use something like a marketplace facilitator, if you're using some of the payment processors, they collect sales tax on that state on your behalf and pay it. That is your economic nexus because you're paying taxes into the tax base. So if you use eBay, Mercari, any of these places to offer your services and take payment, that's your economic nexus. That gives you the right under most state laws there. From what I've been told is my understanding. So I'm not an attorney, but I have spoken with a bunch, and I've spoken with state senators. I've spoken with actual House of Representatives and federal senators, Congress and Senate. It's not a partisan thing. Right to repair is bipartisan. So, what I was thinking, let's get off the subject here. But we have a firmware backup. I'm going to save that. Okay. I'll save that off here. Okay. Let me save this real quick. I don't want to goof it up, hit the wrong button. I already closed it down. Darn it. I gotta. Guess I'm gonna reread that. I got the rambling on right to repair. I guess we're gonna have to do that again. Oops. How unprofessional of me. Okay, well, it's gonna light up right with the chip that we're doing. We're gonna read. We're gonna verify. Okay. Buffer, add a buffer. And there's all the information again. Looks like it's coming back the same. Same checksum. I think that's the same checksum. So, but I will save that here. And we'll discuss what I want to do with my plans for the Mega Magic. So we have, this is the PPI base for the Data IO 2900. It has pogo pins. Those do not touch pins, but it's got pogo pins. So I was thinking of doing the same thing on the Mega Magic. So instead of using headers, 3D print a holder so you can just drop it on and latch it. And it'll make taking it off and removing it way simpler than having to mess with fighting with. If you've ever tried to pull out 144 pins of headers, it's a pain in the ass. But these are some, that's TSOP 56. Here's a PLCC 52. I've got a bunch. Compared to that's an original Xeltek. Now, actual board-to-board connectors, they're not that bad. They're about $7 a piece. But that adds up when you're talking a lot of adapters versus getting some pogo pens and 3D printing a holder and being able to just drop it on and have no pogo pen, or no connector. I think it'll work. I'm going to give it a try. And for the 7500, it's a little different board. It uses smaller connectors. So I hope you guys are enjoying my live stream. Yeah, it was the same checksum. I'm very confident this is a good backup. And if you notice on my FM-203, I've got my heat shrink over my detectors for the key to bypass the key, and sticker over the speaker to quiet the beep down. It's a real simple board. I wish they'd provide the schematic. You see them on eBay, dead, broken. Most of them they might have bad micro, but if they have a bad micro now, we can repair them. I'm gonna try to get my buddy to bring his over, and I'm gonna try the code on my other FM-202. I've got another FM-203, 202 on the brain for some reason. I think I'm gonna make the firmware public. I don't know. But, yeah, I've got my second 203 here. I did upgrade to the JBC, and I'm going to be doing a update on the JBC and my experience since I've had a set of working units for a year now. I started my JBC transition in August, September of last year, and it took them till October to get it solved. Or, sorry. I'll do a little review on my experience with them. I've been pretty happy with the power. I've just not been happy with the build quality. What'd you miss? You missed me backing up the Hakko FM-203 firmware. I was concerned that the chip was read protected, because if they read protect the chip, it's only programmable via the ISP header, and you have to have a code, an ID code. Well, I went through the buffer and we located the ID code. So now we have the ID code for commentary purposes. And this Hakko can cook eggs, so it can be considered retail food, retail service. So if they're going to say it's farm equipment and machinery, well, we'll say it's food service equipment. So is that a Cyrus PK? And Victor Man 222, thank you again for reversing back and checking that checksum. So, yeah, Hakko wanted, or not Hakko, but Xeltek wanted a couple $100 for a QFP52 adapter. So, socket, since QFP quad flat pack 52s are not that common, it's $60 to $80, $70 right around there on average for a ZIF socket, which I did make an adapter, or I do have an adapter for that. See, these are the adapters. Here's the circuit board. Here's a breadboard. This one is TQFP 144, PQFP 100, TSOP 56, TQFP 64, another TQFP 64, QFP 32, SOIC, that's a universal. PLCC 52, I designed that one. PLCC 68, I designed that one. PLCC 84, I designed that one. Most of these were designed by Alex in Russia. TQFP 80, TSOP 56. That was me. That's got 3347 on it. Another TQFP 100. TQFP 44. I did a few of these, and Alex did a few. I will throw that one in the stack. These are just my spares. It looks like I got a 6% dropped frame rate. That's not good. So what else do I want to talk about? You guys say something in the chat. I've got 35 minutes so far. It's my wife's birthday today, so I'm going to try to talk her into going out and going to dinner or something this afternoon. No, I'm not hiding from the wife. She's doing her own little thing she wanted to do in the house today, and I'm doing mine. I've been married for, I think, going on 30 years in June, so 29 years. So we've had a long life together so far. I had my wedding on my channel. It was 95, June of 95. June of 95. Yeah, back in June of 95, I had really no aspirations to do my electronics, man. I was a gearhead. Yeah, 30 years is a long time. Yeah, we lived in Vegas. I was working at 7-Up, driving forklift for temp agency. We came up here. She was 17. I was 18. And her mom and dad signed the papers, and we got hitched. So it's kind of weird. We had to go from Vegas to here, but we were born and raised up here. So that's in Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington, Pacific Northwest. So okay, put this in the Hakko folder. I better get to this save. Get stuff off the keyboard. FM-203. Yeah, we have I just loaded the file back up. Let me. Just loaded the FM-203. And verified it, verified OK. I will load it again. Verify. I like it when we get a successful backup. Hey, QS Tech Service. The Programmer King is live. I'm not the king of programmers. It's just a different field that nobody else really does on YouTube. It's my own little thing. So yes, we do have a valid backup. I will get the version number. I forgot to pull it before I took the station apart, but I might make it public. But yeah. What was the locate? So right there, man. We've got it. I wrote that down right here. We're at 484B3030323536. 484B3030 323536. So if anybody's got a programmer, give the code a try. I'll do another stream when I get this back together, and I'll pick a programmer, either the Flasher Pro, Flasher Portable. Oh, we're not gonna torrent. If I upload it, it's just I'm just gonna go flat right on my right on the website. Link in the description. I'll put it on the Teardown post if I decide to upload the firmware. But it was read with common tools. Nothing special. Nothing proprietary or confidential. No trade secret device. So. Yeah, these are very common tools, QS. You would not believe how many people have these programmers. They just... But I gotta put this microcontroller back on the board. Yeah, I really gotta get pogo pen adapters so we don't have to fight with these. But there it is, removed. That was the solution. So if you see the video I did this morning, I showed what the error was using that. I will post on the blog what the error was using that. It's ID code error. I'll post the pinouts for the header. It's power, mode, reset, and ground. Just 4 wires. Real simple. But we shouldn't have to be taking microcontrollers off to be able to read them in parallel. I mean, if it's such a secret, they should have locked it. So, but this was done. This is an old programmer. This is a 6000. Yeah, yeah. These Mega Magic here, I 3D printed that cover, but Mega Magic here, they'll save you a lot of money in adapters, because just one adapter from Xeltek can cost $500, $600, $700. Yeah, FlashCat's just a tiny little thing. It's, you know, it's got its uses. You know, if it works for you for what you do, keep it. You know, I've got drawers of programmers. You know, I've got everything from the CH341 to the $100,000 plus automated programmer here. So, yeah, Kyle. If you search my channel, you'll find links to the guy's Telegram that makes these in Russia. He's legit. These are about $300, and they save a lot of money. Yeah, you have to get them directly from the guy in Russia. And I think if you got a QR code on here. Thought he had a QR code on one of these. You can see the address right there. Thought he had a QR code on this. I think QR code was the QR code on for the one for the 7500. Yeah, there. Of course, I don't want to focus. Yeah, forced to go through them in Russia. I told him if he wanted to send me some, I would drop ship them for him, no problem. He's legit. He's a real stand-up fella. But yeah, if anybody's looking to get one of these Xelteks, I recommend the 6100N and the IS01 and the Flasher Pro. Those are the three main tools I use for chip programming. The 7500, I don't use it that often. But it does come in handy for some things. So, yeah, if you've got an older programmer, anyone that takes the CX adapters, like the 5000, 5000E, 6000, he made public, I should say the 5000E, he made public the microcontroller code. So I've got a custom code from him that allows it to work on the 6000 and the 5000. And that's what I used today. I need more coffee. Okay, so goal today was accomplished. We have a backup of the microcontroller for the Hakko FM-203. I gave them a chance to comply with right to repair and provide it on their own free will. But they've basically refused. And I really seriously hope the Attorney General puts the hammer down on them. I'm waiting on their reply to the Attorney General's inquiry. I'm not gonna drop it. Even I want the schematics. It's required by right to repair by SB 244. Shut this down. Put my ZIF socket back on. Put my cover back on. Got to put that chip back on that board. And we're good. Well, I kept you guys for an hour. 51 minutes. That should be a long enough stream. So I will catch y'all later. I'll do another video using the code, like I said, verify it on my other unit. But most manufacturers still use one code across an entire product line. Well, if this was useful information to you, like, subscribe, and notify. I appreciate it. They help. All those likes help.